Are you fit or fat? Find out on Hard Copy.
Good afternoon, I'm Warner Saunders. Joan Esposito is on assignment. Up next on the Channel 5 News at noon, President Bush and Mikhail Gorbachev meet in day 2 of their summit, but not before Gorbachev faces off with congressional leaders. Meanwhile, the First Ladies wow students during commencement ceremonies at Wellesley College. The members of a small parish in Evanston fight to save their church and plan to take that fight all the way to the Vatican. And as the Bulls prepare for Game 6 of the playoffs, the Lovables prepare for their own routine. We'll have a preview. Also today, customers are evacuated from a Marshall Field store in Bloomingdale, and the incredible story of Alex the Parrot. All that next on the Noon News.
Live from the NBC Tower in Chicago, this is Channel 5 News with Warner Saunders and Joan Esposito, and Jim Hill with weather. The Channel 5 News at noon.
In suburban Bloomingdale at the Stratford Square Mall, customers and store personnel have been evacuated from the major department store there this past hour following a reported chemical spill or gas leak. No word yet on the nature of the spill, but police confirm people have been ushered out of the Marshall Field store. Officials at Glen Oaks Hospital say 10 people are now being transported to the hospital by ambulance. There are reportedly complaining of burning eyes and chest pains. Marshall Field's officials say here in downtown Chicago, they tell the Channel 5 News that the incident was caused by a delivery truck which ran into a pipe outside the Field store. Again, a reported chemical spill or gas leak at Marshall Field's at the Stratford Square Mall. More information when it becomes available. And while their husbands met, the First Ladies had business of their own at their meeting. Right now, President Bush and President Gorbachev are meeting at the White House in day 2 of the stopover summit of that summit there. Channel 5 Steve Handelsman in Washington, and he reports their meeting with the Soviet leaders. They sat down with congressional leaders before that.
Thanks very much. The 3rd session of the Superpower Summit got started late today here at the White House. Before it began, there were already sparks flying over a key issue in these talks, the question of Lithuania's attempted breakaway from the Soviet Union. The place was the Soviet embassy 4 blocks from here. The event, a meeting between Mikhail Gorbachev and American lawmakers. Gorbachev told congressional leaders the Soviet Union is trying to make economic progress despite political turmoil. He attacked the leaders of Lithuania, calling them musicians. He said they rushed into their Declaration of Independence.
We have found ourselves in a trap. In fact, they themselves got themselves trapped. But here they met at night, raised their hands and said, "We're now out of the Soviet Union." This is absurd.
When U.S. lawmakers indicated they backed freedom for the Baltic states, Gorbachev struck back.
Why do you allow, for example, your own government, your own administration to invade Panama, which is a sovereign country, if you love freedom so much?
The fact of the matter is, of course, that the overwhelming majority of the Panamanian people received gratefully American forces which liberated them. And while you expressed your opinion that you don't think that the majority of the Lithuanian people favor independence, I think most of us have a different opinion. I think that a vote in Lithuania would produce an overwhelming result in favor of an independent Lithuania.
All right, fine. Let them do it, and we'll agree. But only through a constitutional process.
The dispute over Lithuania is holding up an important American trade agreement, which Mikhail Gorbachev desperately wants, and he's frustrated. He pointed out to lawmakers that despite the crackdown in Beijing, China has most favored nation trading status, and he said sarcastically, maybe we should institute martial law in the Baltic states. At the White House, Steve Handelsman, Channel 5 News.
And while their husbands met, the First Ladies had business of their own to attend to. Barbara Bush and Rasha Gorbachev attended commencement ceremonies at Wellesley College in Massachusetts. There has been some controversy surrounding Mrs. Bush's visit to the all-women's school. Many students complain that she is known primarily for her husband's and not her own accomplishments. Mrs. Bush struck back, and she struck back with her own humor.
Who knows? Somewhere out in this audience may even be someone who will one day follow in my footsteps and preside over the White House as the president's spouse. And I wish him well.
Then it was the turn of the Soviet Union's First Lady to address the graduates.
Пусть вам сопутствует удача и счастье.
May good luck and happiness be with you.
Добрых вам свершений.
I wish you many good accomplishments.
Благодарю.
Thank you.
The First Ladies head back to Washington this afternoon for a state dinner at the Soviet Embassy. A small parish in Evanston hopes to make a big point at the Vatican. Channel 5's Ray Suarez is here to tell us about the Ascension of Our Lord Church. Ray?
Well, Warner, Ascension of Our Lord was one of more than 40 parishes slated for consolidation or closing earlier this year. Every congregation, from Back of the Yards to Blue Island, was shocked by their own bad news, but Ascension is taking their fight all the way to Rome.
This church is under a death sentence. We have no choice but to fight. We have no choice but to go to Rome.
Greg Lazinski and Jerry Zarnich are two of the 4 members of Ascension who'll fly to Rome tomorrow to see if the decision of Cardinal Bernardine can't be overturned by the central authorities of the Catholic Church.
We keep hearing that, you can't be married to the building. What we're talking about here is not the building. We're talking about the community that's developed. There's a love and family orientation that goes on here that you just can't replace.
Ascension is not one of the grand, palatial houses of worship built by immigrants earlier this century. The pews and altar are on the second floor of a 78-year-old building. Low ceilings, statues are made of plaster, not marble, paid for by Polish working people. Alongside the more European vision of the Virgin Mary now hangs Our Lady of Guadalupe, the patron saint of Mexico, and a sign of change here.
Anyone who comes to Mass at Ascension will see at least 300 Hispanics sitting here every Sunday at 11 a.m. These people need to have their congregation protected.
The archdiocesan plan is to combine Ascension's Sunday worshipers with the nearby churches of St. Mary and St. Nicholas in Evanston, an option the delegates heading to the Vatican reject.
Being a bureaucracy, they have been more inclined to protect their decision than they have been to reconsider new facts as they are brought to light.
Unlike many of the churches slated to close, the Ascension of Our Lord operates in the black, that is, runs a surplus every year, and even has $32,000 in its reserve fund. But the quartet heading for Rome is not being allowed to use that money to make their trip. Instead, the people in the pews had to dig deep again, raising their own money for the trip in just 2 weeks.
Sounds like they are at least ready to do the job, though.
Well, they feel that this is their last hope, or else the place closes the first week in July, and they feel that they have a good enough case about the vitality of the parish that somebody ought to be able to listen to them and give them another chance at life.
Thanks, Ray. Still ahead on the new news, the weekend weather forecast, and in Money Matters, how to get the best airfares possible. And in health news, Dr. Barry Kaufman looks at a new way to check the vision of children. And a fertilizer factory in Texas goes up in flames. And just why? Well, that's a mystery. All that coming up next on the new news.
It's a total, absolutely final clearance at New York Carpet World. These carpets already cut to $8.99. Final markdown $5.88. Another group, premium carpets that were sale priced to $12. Final markdown $6.88. Hundreds more, every excess carpet. Prices slashed without regard to cost or profit. To clear the decks, we'll give you padding free and credit free with no payments till $19.91. It must be a total sellout. It must be done by Saturday night. Hurry to New York Carpet World.
The case of a homeowner's horror.
These bills are driving me crazy.
What can we do?
Thousands of homeowners are consolidating their bills with a low fixed-rate home equity loan from the money store. Your monthly payments may be a lot lower. Borrow up to $100,000 and more for any reason. You get a money-back guarantee. Return the money within 2 weeks of closing, and the deal is off at no cost to you. Call the money store or the mortgage baron. 1-800-LOAN-YES.
In a way, nature tells you when to squeeze oranges. Just look at the difference between a just-picked orange and one that sat around a couple of days. Something magical is gone. That's why Citrus Hill Fresh Choice is picked and squeezed within a day. And that's why we put a special seal and cap on it, to keep that freshness alive. Citrus Hill Fresh Choice is a choice a lot of mothers may not have had till now.
New Citrus Hill Fresh Choice. What a difference a day makes.
You'll have the time of your life. Now that's entertainment. Pump Boys and Dinettes is Chicago's #1 musical. Woman, the hose is over there. Pump Boys and Dinettes, the high-octane musical hit, now at the Forum Theater next to Candlelight Dinner Playhouse. For tickets, call 708-496-3000.
Today!
Today, investigators in Waxahachie, Texas are trying to find out why a fertilizer factory caught fire last night. The blaze unleashed a huge cloud of smoke, and there were some nervous moments before officials determined it contained no toxic chemicals. A 6-mile stretch of interstate highway had to be shut down, and the surrounding area was temporarily evacuated. And now, checking up on health news, a new eye test may revolutionize how kids are screened for eye problems. Undetected vision problems are one reason some children don't do very well in school. And one of the reasons the problems go undetected is the screening equipment doesn't work in all children. Channel 5's health reporter Dr. Barry Kaufman tells us a major study of the new device got underway yesterday with the help of some Chicago school students. One note, because eye exams are done in low light, some of the pictures are a little bit dark, but watch.
Wait, how old are you, Alicia? 5? Okay, Alicia. What letter do you see?
Eye screening exams in school are designed to try and pick up as early as possible problems like near or farsightedness or astigmatism or misaligned eyes. But since the current tests depend on the child's response and cooperation, some children's eye problems are missed.
If we're working with very young children, nonverbal children, or handicapped children, the screening tools that we currently have available don't work very well.
You just watch the little red light. That's all there's to it. Good. One more.
This special camera and flash system may be the answer to screening children who don't respond to conventional tests. 50 preschool and kindergarten students at St. Bartholomew School are the first to take part in a statewide study. The device uses special horizontal and vertical light flashes which bounce back from inside and on the eye. The key is the patterns they make on the instant Polaroid film.
Here we have the crescent in the upper half, roughly, of the child's left eye. You can see the bottom half is this nice darkened area. This lighter area is indicative of the refractive problem. In this case, because of the location, it would be myopia.
Nearsightedness.
Nearsightedness, correct. On this one, the crescents are, as you can see, opposite of the other photograph we looked at, are on the bottom of the pupil.
And what does that say?
That would be indicative of a farsightedness or hyperopia. Here, what we're seeing are crescents in the vertical photos that are significantly greater than any crescents you'd see in the horizontals, and that is indicative of an astigmatism situation, which again was verified through the eye examination.
The study calls for approximately 200 children here in Illinois to be tested. About half, as those here at St. Bartholomew's, are normal, healthy children, the other half mentally or physically disabled. And results here will be compared with tests from a few other areas around the country. Besides the photo screening and conventional eye screening tests, each child in the study will also be given a complete eye exam. Optometrist Dr. Dominic Mano will do the exams in Chicago.
We will then compare the comprehensive eye examination findings to the screening findings to validate and verify using the photo screener.
Like Dr. Mano, Mike Larson, who heads the Illinois Health Department's Vision and Hearing Service, is cautiously optimistic.
I'm quite impressed with the potential of this instrument. At the same time, I'm skeptical. I want to make sure that it is cost effective, that it's not going to miss kids that may have problems, and it's not going to label kids as having problems that really don't.
Dr. Barry Kaufman, Channel 5 News.
And Dr. Barry adds, nationwide testing should be done by the end of the year. If the results are good, the Washington-based company that invented the device will then look for a company to manufacture it. Jim Hill is off this noon, but he did leave us with a weather forecast for the weekend, and it looks like the weather will keep right up with the calendar. Summer-like weather for the 1st of June. The forecast for this afternoon, partly sunny, windy and warmer, with highs around 80 outlying, around 72 near the lake. Brisk south winds, 12 to 22 miles an hour, and sunset is at 8:18 tonight. Partly cloudy with an outside chance of a thunderstorm about midnight. It will be mild with lows around 65. Tomorrow, variable cloudiness, warm and humid, highs around 84, and a good chance of periods of showers and thunderstorms. Afternoon storms may be heavy, and then a cold front will sweep through tomorrow evening. And Sunday, sunny and pleasant in the morning. But if a secondary front forms and advances, it will cloud up by afternoon, and there could be a few showers. Highs will be around 75 to 80 degrees. And the Bulls and the Pistons aren't the only team preparing for tonight's playoff showdown. Also, there's an incredible story of Alex the Parrot, and his vocabulary will absolutely leave you speechless. And in just a few moments, the Illinois Lottery will unveil the identity of the person who won that $42 million lotto jackpot of 2 weeks ago. The prize is worth a little over $2 million a year for the next 20 years. One other lotto note, the jackpot in tomorrow's drawing has been raised to $13 million because of very, very brisk sales. And now something for those of us who aren't millionaires. With the summer travel season about to get into high gear, airfares are heating up. But in today's Money Matters, Steve Crowley has advice on how to get some bargains out of it.
Flying away this summer? Well, you're more likely to get the best airfares when you plan ahead. You're willing to travel at odd times. Be flexible.
If he can stay over Saturday night, if he minds stopping over someplace en route, if he minds changing planes, all these things play a factor in your ability to get a good price.
Another way to go, you could choose smaller airlines like Southwest, America West, and Midway. Now, these fares are sometimes cheaper than the big guys, the major carriers, but they don't have as many flights and times available. So I would compare prices. Fares tend to be higher on airlines flying through what's called their hub city. For example, Detroit is the hub for Northwest Airlines. Pittsburgh is the hub for U.S. Air. I'd fly a competing carrier through hub cities for cheaper fares. When your travel schedule is flexible, I'd buy a low-price ticket for a nighttime red-eye flight, then fly standby on an earlier flight. When there are seats available, the airlines will honor your discount fare. Now, you can sometimes get a free flight and even rack up frequent flyer bonus miles by volunteering to be bumped from a flight. Again, your travel plans do have to be flexible here. I'd tell the ticket agent before you board the plane that you don't mind giving up your seat if the plane is overbooked. Ask about discounts for senior citizens, children, families, and students. Most airlines offer a 10% discount for seniors 62 and over, children a 10 to 30% discount. But check them out carefully. Sometimes the discount price is more expensive than a low-fare coach ticket. No matter what strategies you use to get the lowest fares, it's best to pay for tickets as soon as your travel plans are solid. This locks in the fare and protects you from future increases. Steve Crowley, Channel 5 News.
When we come back, the word of some major delays at O'Hare Airport this afternoon, and also the incredible story of Alex the Parrot. Officials at the city's aviation department are warning of serious delays at O'Hare Airport this afternoon. Work crews at O'Hare Airport are this morning reportedly severed communications cables that link O'Hare with the Regional Air Traffic Control Center in Aurora. Partial communications has been restored, but both departments and arrivals are expected to be, departures and arrivals are expected to be delayed throughout this afternoon. Instead of our usual people watching segment today, a variation on the theme, bird watching. Channel 5's Renee Ferguson has the remarkable story of Alex the Parrot.
Meet Alex. He's a 14-year-old African gray parrot with the vocabulary, disposition, and eating habits of a 2-year-old child.
Want a grain?
Okay, Alex, I give.
Want a nut? Well, you tell him.
What is it, Alex?
Wheat. Good.
Oh, great. All right. Unlike most 2-year-olds, though, Alex likes shredded wheat and corn. His trainer, Irene Pepperberg, has gone beyond merely teaching Alex to mimic words and phrases. Alex knows colors.
What color?
Yellow.
Good birdie.
Alex knows textures and shapes.
What is this? What is it?
Truck.
Truck, that's right.
Alex was fascinated by my white wool shawl. He recognized its texture.
Wool.
Oh.
So what does it all mean? Pepperberg says she believes that parrots are probably much more intelligent than we know.
On all of the tasks that we have tried, and it's not all the tasks that have been used for the other animals, but on all the tasks that we have tried, he's performed at the same level of accuracy as the chimpanzees, the dolphins, and the sea lions.
And techniques used to teach Alex might be used to reach children with learning disabilities.
Another important aspect of the work, and it's not something that I myself am doing, but that I'm hoping people will do, is to use the techniques that we've developed for working with Alex to establish communication in children who are dysfunctional.
As we prepared to leave, Alex sensed that he was losing his audience.
You be good.
He suddenly became
We're gonna go
very
eat lunch.
talkative, trying to coax us to return.
Yep.
You're a good boy. We're gonna go eat lunch. I love you. Yeah, good boy.
A good bird? Well, maybe. But a smart bird, for sure. At Northwestern University, Renee Ferguson, Channel 5 News.
Yeah, but can he fetch the newspapers, though? Researchers say that the bird's speech is not truly language, but what he does is process and then evaluate information. And they believe that that may enable us to learn more about human communications, and certainly that's something we need. There are some good indicators of the coming of summer in Chicago. Lifeguards appear on the beach, and the parks are alive with beautiful blooming things. And of course, yeah, you guessed it, the Brandeis used book sale is on. And this is it. Under the huge yellow and white striped tent in the parking lot of the Old Orchard Center are 400,000 books arranged in more than 40 categories, hardcover and paperbacks. The sale is sponsored by the North Shore chapter of the Brandeis National Women's Committee.
It's growing every year because dealers from all over the country, collectors from all over the country wait for this sale. They come here and they know that they'll find books that they can't find anywhere else at very reasonable prices.
Marcia and Steve Hirsch have been Brandeis book browsers for almost 25 years. They remember the treasures found.
This book is a poetry book by Cowper. It's an English poet. And this painting is on the edges there. That's why it's called a 4-edge book.
Beautiful.
And we were fortunate enough to buy it for $5.
Some of the books that we bought just gave us pleasure just reading them, and some of them, like that 4-edge book, was a treasure that you just wouldn't find anywhere else.
The sale runs from Saturday, June 2nd until Sunday, June 10th. I must admit it was fun being there, minus the overwhelming crowds. In browsing through the media section, we found this little gem. NBC News, a picture book of the year, 1968. Lots went on that year. Some of the other noteworthy features are an unusually large collection of Edgar Rice Burroughs' Tarzan books, along with Zane Grey adventure stories, as well as a collection of books signed by President Nixon, Truman, and Hoover. Admission is free except for a $5 donation on opening night. And there's a closed bid auction of rare and collectible books on Saturday, June 2nd through Wednesday of June 6th. And of course, Norman, Mark, you've been to this thing lots of times, haven't you? The Brandeis book sale.
Oh, yeah, that's a great sale because there's a lot of good books. There's also a lot of good stuff going on this weekend.
And what is
Chicago.
it, pray tell us?
Well, it's openings. This is like the first big weekend of the summer. You got a big movie, Total Recall. You've got the Phantom of the Opera, which I'm going to review on Saturday. There is a lot going on the weekends.
Well, there's a lot going on the weekends. You want well, sometimes it just doesn't roll. It gets stuck there on the weekends. Give us a voice picture of what's happening.
Well, of course, there's the Gospel Fest, which is
that's
very
at
important.
the Petrillo Band Shell in Grand Park.
Band Shell on Saturday and on Sunday.
Pop Staples, the Barrett Singers are going to be honored.
Yeah, and that's always nice. Mm-hmm. And that's nice. It doesn't matter what's the color of your skin. The Gospel Fest is just a joyous event.
As Daddy O'Daly used to say, it's a thigh slapper and a toe tapper.
There's the opening of Phantom of the Opera. Officially, they've been having all sorts of previews throughout the week. They have spent millions dressing up the auditorium theater, and they're going to spend thousands dressing up the Navy Pier, the Rotunda, to look like the Paris Opera House for a cast party, and we hope to be there live on Saturday night.
Yeah, a fabulous cast party, as I understand it.
Well, I
Who
hope
was the
so.
lead in that?
Scott Jacoby is the lead, and we're going to be talking to him live on the 4 o'clock news this afternoon, if everything works out as apparently it is throughout the day.
Total Recall. I mean, it's been getting really good reviews around town. Arnold Schwarzenegger obviously is doing the job as a fine actor, at least.
I'm going to review that tonight on the 10 o'clock news. It is a slam bang roller coaster ride with a cute little sort of philosophical thing. Is this a dream? Is this reality? They might have spent up to $70 million on this film, $10 million of it going to Arnold and his salary. He also gets 15% of the profits. It's the kind of film, it's very bloody. You don't want to take your kids to it, but what a movie. It's one of these movies you sit there and go, can they keep this up? And they do. They keep up the pace. And Arnold shows a vulnerability that's very interesting. He has 2 wives in this film, a girlfriend and a wife.
Girlfriend and a wife. I see. So you want to make it,
it's a science fiction film set in the future where he's a spy, or maybe he isn't. He's working a job and suddenly he thinks, I got to go to Mars. And he goes to a place called Recall, where they give you the memories of a perfect vacation.
Whoa.
You never lose your luggage. You never have any stomach problems. You're always on time.
And you go to the Wisconsin Dells. No. Nothing like that
perfect
happens.
for some people, you know.
You know, everybody's always crowded around your desk talking about, well, what do we do this weekend?
Well, wait, there's another thing.
All right.
The World Music Theater out in Tinley Park. Cher is coming there, and then Kiss follows her on Sundays. And this is a 15,000 people under the roof, 11,000 under the roof, 15,000 on the lawn. And it's a big new music venue, and it'll be very exciting to see. Can they come up with it? Can they have the curtain in time? Can they open in time? And
that's what I was about
like
to ask you. The construction of that place is not yet all together, but they are working as we speak. Yeah,
they're putting it in, but apparently everything, I saw Bob Surratt's piece last night on it, apparently everything will be finished in time. And, of course, opening up with Cher, with this controversial act where she basically appears in a leather jacket and her underwear, singing all these songs. That's a real kickoff. And then Kiss, the people who had all the makeup, and now they don't have the makeup, and they're going to have a number of really big acts through the summer.
Thanks a lot, Norman. It looks like it's going to be one heck of a weekend in Chicago.
If the weather holds up, it should be a good one. Oh, excuse me. Wait, there's also the Antiques Fair. There's also the Body Politic Fair on Lincoln Avenue, the 57th Street Art Fair.
Oh, there's
a lot going on.
Nothing. Thanks a lot. And coming up at 4 p.m. on Warner's World, you'll see the Lovables going through their own practice session in preparation for tonight's do or die game with the Pistons. Here's a look at one of their routines. Definitely got my attention.
Well, you did it for the art of it.
That's right.
Yeah,
no question about
artistic.
that. Joan and I will see you at 4 p.m. Have a good afternoon. Yeah, and you'll be at the game tonight?
No, but I'll be watching.
I'll be watching. You will be.